I'm glad you're back again for another video podcast that we're about to do. And this is about creating a podcast studio. Creating a podcast studio is different for everyone, so we're going to go on site to Crystal at Northwest Book Pros so you can see the different variables and details and intricacies that are going to be needed when you are creating a podcast, just focusing on the studio, the equipment, and the room. So if you like what you see, please rate, please review, subscribe, and enjoy the show.
Okay. Well, what were you thinking?
Podcast.
Okay.
Can we listen to? So in 2026, Crystal is starting a podcast. And, of course, for me, I want it to pay for itself.
As all finance folks do.
And so I have this big office that I just walked you through. All my people are remote.
Okay.
And because of it, it's only me in the office now.
Okay.
So I've thought about, do I get out of my lease or how do I make it pay for itself?
Okay.
If I'm going to do a podcast, can I make this space into something that other people can use as well?
Yeah.
And
And
that's why you're here.
that's why I'm here, because
Tell
I'm
me
like
about
a secret interior designer that Nathan
Listen,
likes
we
to
were at
listen
Let's Connect, and I don't know how we were just talking about personal stuff,
Yes,
and somehow you mentioned about loving design, and
I
I said,
do.
perfect. I'm terrible. See my doom piles. I'm terrible.
I did tell. I said, "Do you know where Ray's other job was?" I don't know if she told you or not. And so,
Yes. So designing spaces. Nathan, could you please get like a 360 of this party, please?
yes. So we're here at the entry door, and this is what it looks like when you walk in. Boom! There's Ray. Walk in, you turn left. There's Crystal in this spot. This is a good 10 feet right here. More than that, though.
You're gonna have to go down. Not everybody's as tall as you.
Oh, shoot.
Hey, don't
Y'all
trip over the doom pile.
Y'all just, look, y'all, now we're at 0.5. This is what it looks like. At 0.5, we go to 1. This is 2. This is 5.
Awesome. I mean, there's really 3 distinct areas in here that can be moments. And like I was sharing with you earlier, one of the ways that you can like recoup the money back is to put it on things like Peerspace. There's other events, kind of like Airbnb, but for spaces.
And now tell me more about what Peerspace is.
So Peerspace is typically used, like somebody can share their space for like quick moments, I would say. So as Airbnb and Verbo are like for long terms, this is like for a couple hours, like if you're hosting an event. So event spaces will put their space on Peerspace. You can also put like office spaces or places where you can film content. So you could put it under like podcast studio or like content creation, and people can find it and they can rent it from you for a specific amount of hours. You can also charge more if they are going to use like some of the elements, like if they need mics or something along those lines, you can rent those out as well. So that is what Peerspace is. It's kind of like Airbnb, but for business like things and parties. I mean, heck, nowadays you can rent somebody's pool, so that's also an option.
Yes, I've heard, and I know somebody who has done that. They make a lot of money. They made, I think, $5,000 in one night. Now they had way more people than they were supposed to have, but yeah. I think that's Holly.
It is.
We're filming. Come on in, Holly.
I mean, that part, all of this is being recorded. So, anywho, going into it, there clearly are 3 distinct zones that we have here. If you want like a cushy like couch setup where we can really have that moment of, well, let's back it up. If we're going to rent out the space, we also need to be able to make this space in a way where it is more flexible so we can move things out if somebody needed to move things out. So I would say almost everything needs to be on wheels to a certain extent.
Okay.
Or just very easy to move. So like if we go the comfy couch, cushiony sofa chairs, because I clearly need like 5 words to say that, we'll need sliders to make it really easy.
What are sliders?
Okay, well, welcome to being a little person who has to move furniture, okay? greatest invention ever. They're like $6 on Amazon. They're like these plastic discs. Like, when you work out and you work out with sliders. Well, like, but when you work out with sliders, have you ever done that in the gym with a class? Yeah. It's like that, but smaller.
Okay.
And then you pop them underneath the furniture, and it's easier to move it around.
I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I've seen them, right? Yeah. She's like, yeah.
Holly's like, I'm like Raylan size. I get it. Like, one cannot move this around without sliders. Like, I just can't do it. So, just like having that, so to make it more accessible. But it's going to be like one of those things where here can be more lifestyle-ish, like more comfy, cozy. Getting those podcast mics that are on boomerang stands, so nobody has to like hold it. Or you could also do like clip mics like we have on right now. And then like a little rolling desk that can move so you can plug in whatever you need. I personally am the queen of cameras, but I don't really move from my desk per se. I have 2 different zones in my house because I have a teleprompter that I can turn around and is a computer teleprompter. But I also have one of those cameras that like follows me, like one of those 360 cameras. And that's really nice. They're only like yay big and film in 4K quality. So you could have something like that. So it could just sit on top of your laptop and make life really easy. Cameras are just getting so much better over time. I also have a DSLR camera that I film on too. I go between the 2. So you could have that as well. It's cheaper to get the other camera though.
What is ideal? If you said there was ideal because we're looking at giving this space, making it available for other people, what do you think would make, how many cameras would you recommend?
I would have at least 3.
At least 3.
That way you can have different angles. And then if somebody's like very intensely editing, if they're not bringing in their own, videographer, because if they have their own videographer, like it's a moot point, right?
Yeah.
But then you can get different angles, and then you can have a camera, especially if you have a guest, you can have a camera trained on each person, and then you can edit from that point.
Okay.
So, but also keeping in mind that that's something that people would rent beyond that. Lots of people will bring their own stuff because they have their own SD cards and they have what they like to work off of. So if you're creative.
So let's say they don't have their own stuff to bring. I think one of my concerns is I have the aesthetic that I'm going to like, but what about, not everybody's going to have it, and they're going to want their own things. So what are things that we can do in this space?
In your comfy, cozy area, like if we could have something like this that's easy to take on and off, so they can set their own like knickknacks like in their background, or having like entryway desks, like where you throw your keys, like one of those. Having those so you can move that in and out, but they can also put like a sign with their logo. Like if you think of Nathan's stuff, he has all those portraits that say like BU on the canvases. They can pop that there. You can also suggest to people and or buy them yourself. They have those arches that you always see at like conferences as people's backgrounds. Who they now sell them as frames, and then they can get the colors to pull over the top of them in their colors and set that up as their background as well. And those come on wheels, so we can like, you can pop them wherever you need to.
Yeah.
Those things are really, really easy to start to bring that to the space. I personally, when I've gone to other people's spaces, I bring those accessories with me. So great example is I took all the pillows off my couch. My living room happens to be like neutral, dark green, and gold. I took all the pillows off my couch because I knew I was taking pictures in this bedroom at this pier space, and I put them on. I used them on the couch, and I also used them on the bed because his colors were not green. And so they will also naturally bring those things, and you can suggest that when they rent the space as well. Like you can bring these little things with you.
Do you think it makes sense to maybe have extra stuff of like that as an option for people? So outside of just like the moving or the changing of the walls, but even sometimes with the accessories?
I think if it starts to really pay for itself, yes. And I would buy them as needed. I wouldn't just buy them and like hope and pray.
Yeah.
Because I'm also a very realistic human being.
Same.
I'd be like, if you want that, then I'm going to like charge what it costs for me to buy it. And then maybe it will get cheaper with time. But that's what I would do. Like if somebody needs that, but at that point you almost need somebody to help them plan.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take that on.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Makes
wouldn't.
sense.
They can.
You said earlier in this space, one of the issues is because it is a large space, sound.
Yeah.
Echoes.
Sound echoes, and here's something vicious. So things that can help with sound are like curtains on the windows. because we got 2 of those. But also, like, especially in podcast rooms, we see them all the time. They have like these sound. But Nathan was the word that I'm looking for. They go on the wall and they're like, they absorb sound. Some are ugly as sin and some are really pretty. Yeah, it's foam. And some of them are ugly and look like it's like packaging.
I know exactly which ones you're talking about.
Yeah, we're not using those. And then you can use really, really pretty, like there's some that are white that look like they have like waves built into them. And then you can get LED stripped like color lights that can change colors.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And that way they can change the colors to what they want, but it's also absorbing that sound and it acts as a visual element as well.
Okay.
Another random thing that I would have, because I would have it for you personally, because I know like we have the faux tree over there, and we could probably get some other plants that we could do, but putting lights in the plants to like light up from there and getting wash lights that can pop up the walls.
And are you thinking lights that can change?
Yeah, I would get the kind that like could be any color. And the reason I say that is then, you know, like if I'm recording in here, for example, my colors are going to be coral and dark green and neutral. Like yours are going to be blue. So like you might want like a blue wash. I just think I've planned so many events. And I've walked through the art museum and they're like, well, do you want wash lights up the columns? I'm like, sure do. Make them red. So it's a really cheap way to make things look really pretty.
Okay. What about the flooring? The floor. I hate this carpet.
I personally would make all floors wood because cleaning. Personally, and then carpet can like take up sound. But I would, it's already so echoey in here that, I mean, the carpet is.
You would just get rugs.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Do you just do rugs? Or I've seen even on Amazon, we were looking at, like you could do the fake tile. They snap together.
Like a dance floor.
Yeah, do something like that. And then you could throw a nice, maybe, I don't know. This is not my wheelhouse.
Right.
That just sounds like a lot of work that I wouldn't go for.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, not very often are we going to see the carpet, so I wouldn't even care unless you like have the bandwidth and the finances to pull it up and make it wood.
Yeah, we're not there.
Yeah, that's
maybe a future.
Yeah. People aren't super looking at, like, people will look at the carpet and see like, are there huge stains? And I would get rugs to cover that. But like outside of that, like nobody's really looking at their feet. Yeah. And if we are being very realistic, how many of us have seen podcasts where we see the ground? Like nobody.
Yeah, I think you pointed that out to me earlier this week. We talked about that.
You're just used to seeing it.
It's an eyesore to me.
Yeah, that's from here up is really our zone.
You know how people get in front of cameras.
What are you trying to say, Nathan?
You get weird. I would first start it to be how you want it. If that makes sense. Like whenever I make decisions on peer spaces, I make it based on like the aesthetic that's already there. And can I add to it? And can I take away? Like I've asked people, can I move your plants? If I can't move your plants, we're probably gonna have a problem. For me personally. But like I will look at the pictures that are on the walls within the pictures, and that is how I initially make my thoughts. And so whatever you first put out there is what people are going to go off of. And even if you have all those things, like that requires somebody to click in and scroll down. So it's what do you want first? And your palette is so neutral anyways, it's gonna get a lot of folks. So I would take this moment and I would have like a table that could sit behind the back between the chairs, like one of those entryway tables, and I'd have your 2 comfy chairs so you can put like knickknacks, fresh flowers or something over there. And if you didn't want flowers or anything, like a picture above that moment. So like we have something to center our eyes towards and like have this space. And then if you ever wanted to take it at this angle, like not head on, because like head on, like we need a center focus. But if we're taking it from the angle you're standing at now, we still need to build out the things that are on these sides. Because this is so open, like to here, this is a good place for somebody who's filming, if you have a videographer, to be at, and gives us way more depth going into this space.
That makes sense.
So you could have,
think about that.
Yeah, you could have one chair here. If it's just you can be in the comfy chair closer to the corner and have like those elements.
I didn't think about that. Not a bad idea.
So you have 2 zones that we can film from. You wouldn't want to film from that way because that's just going to look kind of weird unless we're more zoned in on whoever's sitting on the second seat. Okay. Because we don't want them to see or even get the reflection of this door. So anything filmed from here has to be beyond this wall.
Okay. Makes sense.
But it is open enough for somebody to take action.
Yeah.
Whoever's taking action. Then over here, I mean, both of these, I mean, they mirror each other. That one's slightly bigger though.
It is.
You know what you could also do? You could change some of these panels out for sound panels.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you can buy them. I don't know what they cost, but you can like pop them out and then like have like prettier ones, but it would just like help absorb sound too. Over here, I would get like a rolling whiteboard. You have some, but like I would be able to move it in here.
Okay.
And then this is where you could stand and do like educational, like long form content.
Okay.
And then you have like over here really we'll need something for sound because the second I walked into this space, it got even bouncier. But you can like pop up like a faux tree here and then have your whiteboard if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, it'll live that away. Yeah. So your tree, I knew that. Your tree would be here, which would still give you depth. And then like we would have this and you could have like a little table with, I really love flowers, but if anybody watches my podcast, you would notice there's always different flowers in it at any given point in time.
Yeah.
They don't have to be real. It could be like a house plant.
Gotcha.
But you can write and you can get that content done. And then if you're sitting and speaking, you have all these different zones.
Yeah.
And if you have the whiteboard, I wouldn't have a picture, but if you're just standing and talking, I would like have something that could go up on the wall, just to create that space. And then I would get shadow box lights and a ring light in here.
What are shadow box lights?
So shadow box lights, it's literally a box. Mm-hmm. You put a light bulb, a very special light bulb inside of it, and then it like softens the light. Okay. So that's going to be more soft light. Those are going to come from the sides, and then the ring light you can change to be warm or cool, but then like will be more direct. It's what gives you sparkly eye effect.
If that's the case, we have these, right? The good news is we can control these. Ooh. But I'm curious because what if, I mean, there's a difference between during the day versus at night. Yeah. So what do you recommend we do with these lights?
I would still keep them. Well, it depends on what the mood is. Like if we're teaching, I would keep them on and still have our other lights shining on us because like these create weird shadows and just all kinds of weirdness because it's coming from the top down. You still want to be able to read your board. So these lights can stay on. Like
I've seen people do this. My massage therapist, she does this. She has nice curtains or whatever that are that
the
she
ones
puts
that go
around.
like this.
Is that something that you would recommend doing with these or no?
No, just because you're also doing work in here, and my eyesight is starting to find its way somewhere else and not here anymore. So y'all should have seen me trying to read this thing the other day, and I was like zooming in. I was like, I swear I could read this the other day. So I would still like have that option so people can have that. And then what I would do is like when you're doing the more intimate ones, I would have the wash lights come up the back. I would turn these off. And then my ring light is actually the light for that room that I film in because it's that intense. But that room is smaller than this one. So like once you have a ring light and 2 shadow box lights on, some people are going to want these off because they're just going to get sweaty. And then you won't be able to see wash up lights if these are on.
Got it. Okay.
So these would come off. Those would go up the walls, and then the other lights would be shining at the correct people.
Holly, questions for Ray? Anything that you can think of?
In case they didn't hear it.
So Holly asked if we had talked about backgrounds
or paint. We did not talk about paint. We did talk about backgrounds. So paint, I actually wouldn't change it. And that's saying something because I generally hate most paint colors in offices. That is saying something. If I did, I would paint it like a warmer cream.
I'll tell you now, I'm not painting.
Okay, good. But because it's painted really well. Like I wouldn't change it personally. If there's ever anything like from the wall up that I'm like, oh, well, if you could, I would get rid of that plastic paneling.
What would you put in place of it?
I would go like old fashioned, like wood.
Okay.
paneling,
Those are
like
easy
white.
fixes.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
that would be the one thing that I would say is like, I feel like I'm in a doctor's office, but like outside of that, that's the only thing I'd change there. I was saying there's archways that you can buy that you can put the cloth over, so you kind of have that dimension that people can pop in. You could also buy like a photo booth background that people could use. I personally like natural background elements, so like having furniture and things of that nature that you can build up and like move around. So, if we have, like I was saying, like that entryway table, and then over here has like a mini desk or something, I could say, "Ooh, I don't want that entryway table. I just want like the mini, like, the tables we have at home where we set our coffee cups on." Everybody follow me? Usually on the side of your bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a nightstand. Like, yeah, just like a
Yeah.
quick little table, not
Yeah.
but you could also put a coffee table in here too.
Mm-hmm.
To like have that moment, when you're on like the view and they're like all sitting around the table, like you could have one of those circular ones that we could pop over here too. Like maybe not that big of a table, but like like the one you put coffee books on, and we have like cute books stacked, and
I got you.
and a succulent. Okay.
I got you. I know what you're talking about.
Something that's easy to get in and out of here is what I would also
Yeah.
say, because if somebody doesn't want it, then we need to shove it into another room for the time being. But I feel like natural, like furniture type backgrounds have the ability for people to have backgrounds, but be very clear. Like you need to bring your own like pullovers. You need to bring your own like backdrop if it's going on that backdrop. And the only backdrop I would supply outside of what you want is a green screen. Other than that, like you're on your own. But having those like little furniture elements, I think would go a long way. And I'd have different types of chairs. So I'd have like comfy, cozy chairs here. I'd have more structured chairs so people have the option between the two. Does that answer your question about backgrounds? Okay. And then yes, I would not change the color of the paint on the walls.
What am I not asking that I should be asking?
What should you budget? I mean, that's the one question that wasn't asked, and I'm shocked you didn't ask it yet. Also because you're you. I would start to budget, if you don't have all the tech pieces, like closer to 10,000. But if you do have many of the tech pieces, I'd look at like about $3,000 from a furniture perspective if you don't have it all already.
Okay.
Yeah.
So running with what you said about this being building it for myself first, which makes absolute sense. I have some equipment, but not all equipment. What I heard is budget about 10 grand. And that's including furniture and
like
cameras,
knickknacks
and
yes,
all
and
that.
cameras and mic equipment and like soundproofing. So like when we're thinking about all of those elements, that might be on the high end. But quality over quantity is kind of my mindset. I would like to know that my camera is going to work for longer than 6 months, or that my mic isn't going to give out. You can also my mic is amazing, and I only spent $100 on it. And Nathan can attest, like when I use my mic, it's like one of the best ones. So it's like those kind of moments, but mine isn't on, well, I guess mine is on a boom situation. It's just attached to my desk.
So if I budget 10 grand for this, what are my items that I'm budgeting for?
You are, first and foremost, it's going to be equipment, because we can move things out of the other rooms.
What is that equipment though?
Camera.
Okay.
At least 2.
Okay.
At least 2 cameras. If you do not have a laptop with all of the abilities to put attachments in it, because you need a lot of attachments, okay? Like so many attachments. Deep breaths, because
take a gander. How many
attachments? Mine doesn't have enough, and I have 4 USB slots, 3 HDMI, and 3 USB-Cs.
Okay.
So like this bad boy isn't enough.
Holly, did you take a note of that?
I can never remember what they're called, but it's definitely, I can send a picture of it.
It also going to be depends on the board. Depending on the station.
Okay.
Yeah. And depends on your computer. Like the Mac right now doesn't have a lot of outputs to use. Kind of a pain in the ass at the moment. So you want to be able, and then you're going to need, this is a very weird thing, but if you have one of those like mobile little desks, you're going to want one of those baskets that holds cords to hold that thing to move with it. Because you don't want a bunch of cords that people are tripping over. You don't want to trip over a bunch of cords. Like, it's not worth that stress. So 2 cameras, the ability to plug everything in, those things will run you about anywhere from $150 to $300.
Okay.
Just a heads up. The basket's like $10 on Amazon. If you don't have a little rolly desk, then you're looking at like 60, 70 there. So at this point, I haven't calculated the cameras, but cameras, one I was telling you about earlier, is about $275. So I'm just going to round up to $300. So now we are at $900 right there, plus our basket, which is a cool whopping like $10, and a mini rolling desk, which we'll call 50 or 60. So let's just say $960 just in that alone. So we're okay. And we haven't talked about furniture. We haven't talked about any of that. So that alone, and mics. So a good mic is going to be anywhere from $100 to, gosh, $700.
Yeah, well, the SM7B, if I said that right, sure I have, it's $400.
Okay, so let's be conservative and say $200.
Okay.
Okay. You're going to need 2 if you have guests. So now we've gone from $960 to $1,160 right there. And then you need the equipment to hold the mics, which sometimes can be their own version of expensive. So another.
With that, so thinking about our setup I know we talked about earlier, maybe before we started videoing, I would like to start with 2 people, comfy chairs. Let's go with that.
You need $3,000.
Okay.
Like, done. Because once we hit the furniture piece of like having that back table, having the 2 comfy chairs, because out there is a small couch and a comfy chair, so we need 2 comfy chairs. Yeah. And we all know that chairs are running us like, well, and then when we're sitting in.
Finding something that I like too. I know exactly what I want. It's just finding what I want.
Yep.
So if there's anybody out there that builds chairs or sells chairs and is looking for a new client, please contact me, because I know exactly what I want.
Like, call your girl. Yeah. Knowing me, I'd be like, I'm going to Restoration Hardware, so it's about to be $1 million.
When poor Holly, when we were looking for that furniture over there, we were in our other office, and 9 months, look, she's like,
don't remind me. She's traumatized.
I made her scour, and we kept going back to Divine Consign in downtown Vancouver, because they have consignment furniture, but decent, really nice furniture. And I think we went back and looked at that thing multiple times. I'm like, well, it's cream. Everybody knows I have a stain on this shirt. This is why we're black. Anyway, it took us
gorgeous. Oh. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Are you going to want to go dark? Because then you're going to blend in with your chair, and now we'll have no contrast.
Thank you for that feedback, because I was leaning towards that, so I won't. Great feedback. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you wear black all the time, it's not going to work.
So to wrap up, what do you think the timeline should be for anyone that's
good question.
going to do this timeline?
I mean, today is December 12th.
Yeah, rough estimate.
Okay, well, estimates are different when you're dealing with everybody buying stuff for the holidays. So let's talk about between January and November. Like, let's be very transparent. It depends on where you buy your furniture from. That can take up to 6 weeks. But everything else should be able to get here in the span of a week, and putting it together should take a day.
Yeah, I think the thing that will be
delivery.
The most is the furniture, the chairs.
So once that is delivered and you have all the pieces, I mean, for a space this size, 3 hours, like, it's not going to take a lot of time, because we're talking about a space that is interchangeable that we're building. And set up once everything's like purchased and here to be interchangeable, 15 minutes if you're lazy.
Got it.
Like, it doesn't take a long time to put up a backdrop and roll it on in.
Yeah. Ray, I appreciate you. I know it took you longer to drive from the Portland side to the Vancouver side. And I'm terrible at design. And so I appreciate you offering that help and coming out here and spending time to also film with us.
Oh yes, my unexpected filming.
Yeah. By
You're
surprise.
lucky. I'm always ready.
Thanks, Nathan.
Yeah, no. Last time I did this with one of Nathan's clients, I literally was like shopping for him. I think he came home from vacation, was like, "It's done."
You know that you might be helping Holly with that task, so.
It's
shaking.
It's easy enough. I bought all of Home Goods. Jansen Beach is right around the corner. I bought all the stuff at Home Goods. The guy was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Creating a knickknack wall." That's what I was doing.
Okay, and that's a wrap.